Hey, what is up guys? So we are going to be going over the best cards that come out of the new Dimensions of Chaos booster set that you want to either pull out of your packs or maybe you want to trade for in this set. Anyways, let's go ahead and jump right into it. And we're just going to be covering super rare or higher, basically the higher rarity cards. Like I said, the cards you want to be pulling out of the set. Anyways, first off, the best card in this entire set, as of right now, is Cosmo Dark Destroyer. It's like 130 bucks. But the card is not hype. This card is really good. Anyways, this is the best card you can pull of the set. Cosmos are already super expensive, and who knows, maybe we'll get more support in the future. They're already looking really good as is, and if they just get like a few more cards, this deck's looking pretty strong, as it's already pretty strong already. But Dark Destroyer is the best card in this set as of right now for money. The next one up is actually Strawman. Strawman's like 60 bucks right now. I feel like that's a little bit expensive. I don't know if this card is going to be played at 3. I definitely think Dark Destroyer, people are, yeah, of course, you're going to just max out on this. This card's amazing. Strawman actually has a pretty decent effect where you get to target one of your banished Cosmo monsters, special summon it. Its effects are negated and it's destroyed during the end phase, but obviously you're going to be able to do other things with the card, depending on what you're able to get out also, because sometimes you can get out some of the stronger monsters. There's no restrictions on it. Obviously you have to pay 500 life points, but this is a very expensive card. I feel like this card's going to go down in price though, but it's nonetheless still a decent card to pull out of the set as of right now. Next up, one of the cards that I think people are overlooking right now is Blazing Mirror Force. I know it's not like Spell Speed 3, it's not something that's going to be used in every deck, but I think that this card is very decent, especially in Cosmos. I haven't covered it on my channel. I didn't even know that this card existed. So anyways, let's go and just go over it real quick. So it's a normal trap card that says when your opponent monster declares an attack, destroy as many attack position monsters your opponent controls as possible, and if you do, take damage equal to half of the combined original attack of those destroyed monsters, then inflict damage to your opponent equal to the damage you took. So the way I see this card in combination with Bring Destruction, especially in a deck with Cosmos that can be very, very aggressive, you're able to completely just win within the first three or four turns in the game, because Cosmos you can almost OTK in majority of hands, and if you can't, then you have the ability to just be like, oh, okay, set Blazing Mirror Force, you attack, okay, destroy everything, I have my monsters, now my Farm Girl can hit you directly next turn if for whatever reason this doesn't make a game. I think this card's an excellent card. I do have to say that I admit that Mirror Force is really slow, but this card is like, it can just win games on its own, and especially if you're playing a deck that can deal a bunch of damage relatively quick. Next up, this is a great card. It's the Magister Paladin, the Ascending Draco Slayer. This card lets you search for a Pendulum monster, and searching for a Pendulum monster relatively good. And it's got decent attack and defense. It's not like, 100, like 2000. It's got 1850, not bad at all. And it's definitely a card that you usually end up just throwing it in main phase 2 anyways, so you can search out your stuff. Next up, the Scarlet Red Dragon Archfiend. This is an excellent synchro card. It like outclasses the hot Red Dragon Archfiend so hard because this inflicts damage to your opponent. This card is amazing. It is a secret rare, and it also does come in Ghost Rare. I think this is going to be our last like Ghost Rare card that we get for a while. Maybe they'll reintroduce those in the Astral packs. But next up, we got the Magispectors. Now, this archetype basically got introduced in this set. Everyone is really hyped for it. I feel like it's a decent deck right now, but I think it's going to get super outclassed by everything. So it's one of those like temporary decks. Like I said, later on down the line, once we get like all the support for the Magician Perform Pals, I think they just get outclassed. There's a reason why in the OCG over here, which they already have docs, of course, but they haven't just been doing as hot as the other stuff. Like, the Perform Power just outclass this deck, so I don't think that this is a good thing to invest into, but nonetheless, these are very pricey right now. Again, sneak peek prices. Ignite Reload, I find this card to be an okay card to actually pull, because later on the line, I feel like Ignites inherently have like one of the craziest abilities to search their entire deck, and there's a lot of FTKs, crazy OTKs with Ignites. I feel like if these get really cheap, it's not bad to pull these out of your packs, maybe save them later on, where once Ignites gets some like one crazy support card, the deck's going to be taking off. Next up, the Tornado from the Magispectors. All the Magispector stuff essentially is just kind of pricey right now, like the Pegasus and all the support really for the entire archetype. Now, Vector Pendulum, the Draco Overlord. This is like one of the craziest pendulums. It's a normal that says negate all card effects in your opponents. Only your opponents. That's a one-sided negation. That's so unfair, and this card is used in like everything. It's an amazing card. Definitely a great card to pull, because it's definitely going to be used in like most Pendulum decks will just run this card because it's amazing. Again, all the Magispector stuff is pretty pricey right now. More Magispector stuff, the Cyclone. Next up, some of these smaller cards here that are just okay cards to pull. We basically went over like the more pricey card. I feel like this should have been in this section also. This card's not too pricey right now anyways, but I feel like Odday's Vortex Dragon is a sweet ultimate rare. Look how cool that thing looks. It looks like spiraling. I love how this ultimate rare looks more than the actual card effect. But like the card effect is still definitely viable, but it's not really used in the meta too much. I know there's some builds in the OCG that do use this, but for the most part, it's not going to be on the same level as the other stuff that you'll be throwing out. Next up, the Odday's Fusion. It brings out that card. Plus, it's just a decent card in general, but it's just a more of a smaller card. Painful Decision. These are other like small cards like you mentioned, not bad cards to pull out of your packs. Painful Decision. I haven't really covered this card, but anyways, it's send one level 4 or lower normal monster from your deck to the graveyard. If you do, you get to add one monster with the same name as the card from your deck to your hand. Obviously, it works in Ignites very, very well. Lets you deck things super fast. The only downside is you can only use one of them per turn. Otherwise, this card would be much, much better. And it is a 4 or lower. But, you know, nonetheless, it's still there. Painful Escape. You get to tribute one monster to add one monster with the same original type, attribute, and level, but with a different original name from your deck or graveyard to your hand. So this can kind of replace, I know the Satellars, they got the Rhoda hit, so maybe you can try this card out. But for the most part, I feel it's too slow anyways. But if this was a spell card, then we're looking at like a quick play spell card. But I mean, I guess Satellars kind of already have that other card anyways, the quick play. Next up, Dogfighter, it's probably going to be like a $5 card-ish, but it's still a decent card to pull. It's not like, wow, this card's a joke, but I mean, I think some people will just try one of them out. I don't really think it's that necessary in the deck, because you already have so many great targets. If this card happened to have the effect that it couldn't be targeted, then we're looking at a much better card. But I think the other cards is kind of outclass this card. If you got the token when it was summoned, it'd be just so much better. It'd probably just be like too good. There's also a decent Blackwing card here. It's a splashable card in like any deck, so it's not bad if you pull it. It's one tuner plus one or more non-tuner monsters. So like I said, any deck can make it. Great level 7 monster with 2600 attack. And if this card is synchro summoned using a Blackwing monster as material, it can be treated as a tuner monster while face up on the field. But the main effect that I actually like for it is once per turn, you can target cards your opponent controls up to the number of other Blackwing monsters you control. Like I said, it's a decent card that any deck can make, but it doesn't count itself. That was the one problem. It says other Blackwing. If it counted itself, I thought it would have been much better, but it's pretty much only going to be using Blackwings. But yeah, like I said, and anyone can tactically make it. It's got a cool effect too. Like, I don't know, maybe we'll see some like Blackwing Quasar plays with this guy over here, because he does count as, he's a big tuner. Then there's also something I wanted to mention, that all the Blackluster Rituals support came out. And is it good? I don't think so. Is the Busted Blader stuff good? Busted Blader is much better than the Blackluster, because at least with that deck you can stun to the point where your opponent can't play. This can technically OTK. I know there's different variations of an OTK in this deck, but I think it's just too mediocre. It does have that amazing effect. Well, the archetype has the amazing effect that you can get out. You can like search out like a Blackluster, and like one of the cards you can search is for like the Envoy, which is really good, but when you compare it to everything else that's out in the game, I don't think it's that viable. But anyways, that is what's in the set that I personally thought was the best. Let me know, guys, if you felt like I missed out any. Again, we're just counting the cards that are super rare and high. I know that there's great commons and rares in the set, but these are the cards that people want to know. Which cards do I want to trade for? Which cards do I want to pull out of my packs? But anyways, let me know, guys, which one was your favorite maybe out of the set, or which card do you think has a lot of potential? Because some of these cards that I'm mentioning in this have a lot of great potential. Like, I feel like the Ignite Reload, the Painful Decision, the Painful Escape, some of these have some potential in the future to be really, really good, depending on, you know, what comes out in the game. Sometimes we get a card and, like, you know, later down the line it becomes really good. But definitely the Cosmos and the Magispectors are like the essential money cards of the set, especially the Dark Destroyer. I don't think this card's going to go down that much. Like, it's not going to go to like a $20 card anytime soon. So if you have them right now, they're definitely great to sell and trade for, because they're really high right now. And I think they'll still definitely keep their price. Heck, and what if we get new support for this deck? This deck is going to be absolutely crazy. But I feel like I said before, the Magispectors, they do have a lot of potential. But the thing is, I feel like they're going to be outclassed. Cosmos, they have a lot more potential for better support. They can come out to the game and make them even better than they already are. And again, check out this card, guys, the Blazing Mirror Force. I think this is kind of an overlooked card. Not many people are playing it. I know Mirror Force is a slower card. Any of these cards where you have to activate, especially during the battle phase, and have to declare an attack, they can be too slow in the game. But in a deck like Cosmos, like I mentioned before, we can put a lot of damage on board. Any deck where you can just play real aggressive, and then you can, like, you know, set like just this card. They go ahead and like they like try to combat your field. Maybe they Raigeki you, and then try to attack, and you're just like, Laser Mirror Force, and then your opponent just loses. I want to try this deck, this card at 3 in my Cosmo deck, just to see how it is. But anyways, like I said, if you felt like I missed out any cards, let me know what your favorite card is out of this set. Let me know in the comment section below. My favorite card is actually this card. It looks so awesome in Ultimate Rare. Look how cool that thing looks. I don't know, maybe I'll make a token out of it. But anyways, thanks for watching, guys. It's been your boy Will Smith, signing out.